All right, guys. Hello, hello, hello. Listen, I wanted to just kind of make this video real quick as a way to go through the student guide, the safety contract, in case you missed it, in case you weren't here for class that day or something like that. This is just for you to hear some of it. So I'm going to keep it brief. I'm going to go through some of the big things, including supplies. Now, a lot of it is to be expected, like your Chromebook, bringing it fully charged every day. That's like our main tool that we use would be our Chromebook, so it's got to be charged. We want headphones or earbuds, something that's easy for you to carry because we will use them frequently. I recommend a combination lock. The team does for your locker to lock up some valuables. And then the only real thing that I ask you to bring for science is one roll of tape. We use a ton of tape over the course of the year. Duct tape, painter's tape, masking tape, electrical tape. I really, really like painter's tape. It's the only tape that I can put on the floor of the school. So if you would be so kind to bring in a roll of tape, that would be super, super helpful. And I just want this by next Wednesday, okay, August 30th. That'd be great. As far as classroom policies, I'll let you go ahead and read through this. One of the big things that I wanted to mention here is that all assignments are going to be due by 8 a.m. So that's a little early in the morning, 8 a.m. You're not going to be able to arrive to school and then finish some stuff while you're here. 8 a.m. is before you would even get here. So 8 a.m. is a little early. Just be aware of that unless I note that it's a different time. There are some days where I make things due at like 4 o'clock, the end of the day. But unless I tell you, it's going to be 8 a.m. Here's the big thing that I want to talk about is how I evaluate you. One of the big things this year that most of the team will go by is a complete versus incomplete system. Meaning, if you get a complete on an assignment, great, you're done. You submitted it, I graded it, I marked it as complete. You're totally done, no worries. I've deemed that you have mastered it, which means you are good to go. If I mark it as incomplete, it means that you missed something. It could be something simple like you didn't do this part, or you did it, you just kind of made a little small error on it, or I was looking for more from you in some sort of some regard. And so I'll be requiring you to revise that assignment until I determine that it has been mastered. So I'll continue to mark it incomplete until I get the quality of work that I'm looking for, in which then you will get 100%. There's no late, there's no nothing like that. It will give you 100% as long as you complete it and it gets marked complete. So theoretically, your DP, everyone should have a 100% at the end of this because everything is able to be revised until you get that 100%. Your work habits, this will be something that we talk a lot about, but on time with effort following directions. This part will not be for a grade, at least initially. However, this is going to be something that I monitor throughout the 9 weeks, just to kind of see, like, every assignment. Did you turn it in on time? Did you do it with effort? Did you follow directions? And then it's a teaching point later on that we can look back and say, listen, you're turning things in on time, but your effort just isn't there. It's just not quite there. So something that we will follow. At the end of the 9 weeks, we'll allow these work habits to contribute a little bit. So if you turn nothing in on time through the course of the 9 weeks, then your DP may suffer a little bit. So we're going to monitor these work habits, and they're not going to initially count as grades, but we'll go back at the end of the 9 weeks and kind of evaluate these work habits and give you a little credit for doing what you're supposed to do. AK, 3 tests, 20 points, nice and short, and then 3 bigger labs or projects every 9 weeks. Retesting, anytime you score below an 80, I will allow you to retake. Okay. If you're above 80, you've essentially mastered the methods and the assignment, and so we're good to move on. You know what you're doing, and I'm comfortable with you moving on if you're above an 80. But if you're below that 80 percentage mark, that's where we're going to do a little remediation. You're going to come with me. We're going to do a little reteaching, relearning, and see if we can get you above that 80%. All right. The other really, really big thing is lab safety. Okay, so here are the lab safety rules, and I want to make sure that we go through these. I will obtain permission before touching lab materials or beginning an activity. Super important. You don't know if something's hot, you don't know if it's sharp, anything like that. You need to wait for me. If I have questions during the lab, I will ask before I act, of course. Protect my eyes, face, and hands while engaging in lab activities by wearing safety protective gear as directed when using heat, chemicals, and glass. That's a big one. Anytime we use fire, Goggles will be worn. I will never insert anything into a flame unless directed to do so. Yes, don't put things in fire unless you're told to do so. If you have longer hair, like hair that's longer than your shoulders, we'll make sure to tie that back. We don't need anybody with their hair getting caught on fire. Behaving appropriately. This one's kind of, understandable. We don't need anybody running around the lab stations if there's fire, if things are on the table that could break. We just want to make sure we're taking care of everything. Not eating or drinking. That's just to avoid accidents. We don't want to, get any sort of chemicals on anything and then have you consume it. That would not be a good situation. So no eating or drinking in the lab. Washing hands after chemicals and lab equipment when it's required. I will definitely send you to have your hands washed. We have soap and sinks in the room. We also have the bathrooms really close by, so we'll make sure that everybody gets cleaned up. Any spill, accident, or injury, no matter what it is, you have to tell me. That way we can tend to whatever needs tended to. The location and proper use of the fire extinguisher, fire blanket, eye stations, and first aid kit and fire alarm. If the fire breaks out, I will alert the teacher immediately. Yes. If something catches on fire, please tell me. The fire extinguisher and fire blanket, those are just in the room. They're very visible. They're bright red. You cannot miss them. The eye wash is in the back of the room. First aid kit I have. And then the fire alarm is right out in the hallway, right outside our room, in case you would need to know. Okay, those are the big things as far as safety goes. So if you agree to these, as well as everything that is in the safety or is in the student guide, I want you to go ahead and sign this. So here's a little bit more information on me. And then I need you to submit this after you've given me your name, the section. If you're in my homeroom, you're 712. If you're in Mr. Tobin's room, you're 711. If your homeroom teacher is Mrs. D, you are 710s. And if your homeroom is Mrs. Laganya, you are the 79s. So go ahead and put your section in there. Somebody at home, give me a signature right here, just saying that everybody at home agrees to it as well. And then student signature right here. Turn that baby in and you are good. Okay, guys, I'm looking forward to a great year. Let me know, of course, with this contact information, if you need anything from me at all throughout the year, I'll be available to help you. All right, guys, looking forward to it.